No sign of the starter coming to the platform yet. Another one appears from behind the trees, and that's Atlantic Comet. And that may well be it. Atlantic Comet to be brought up. As they've got a strap attached to the back of the barrier stalls here to try and whip him into line, this bloke. Atlantic Comet, obviously, he's got up to some tricks of late. Used to be all right as far as I can remember. His big failure was to, he forgot to come out of the barrier stalls. Once he'd gone in there, he'd missed the start a couple of times when I saw him about 6 or 7 months ago. Now Ernie Marchant trying to get him to head in the right direction. Got plenty of ability, Atlantic Comet too. He's just lets himself down at times. And this is one of them where he's going to use up a lot of his energy before he actually even competes. 4.30 Full of Spirit. Apollo Express number 4 at $4.90. $6 about number 6 Jamati. $6.10 for number 8 Clapton. They're the ones in the market here as they endeavour to load Atlantic Comet. Now they're starting to get him up in the general direction. Again, he whips away and that little idea of having that strap across the back of the stalls hasn't worked because the attendant has dropped it like a hot scone. As he gets out of the way, as Atlantic Comet whips side on him. It's the previous race won by Joy Crest here. Next Monday is another big day in the provincial circuit with Camperdown Cup Day. 8 events there, the first at 12.50. The last at 4.55. Terrific field in the Camperdown Cup, as is the case every year. So it must be pretty close to St Patrick's Day. Normally seems to correspond with the Camperdown Cup in that week. So the green will be everywhere. Tuesday we go to Werribee. Wednesday it's another big day, and the Cup World's on the provincial circuit with Kilmore. There's $70,000 Kilmore Cup. Let's hope the weather holds for them. And we need the rain, but it can rain at night. Now this is getting to a situation where the starter will start to get a little anxious about Atlantic Comet. I would have thought they would have had the rider off by now and try the horse riderless, but that may be an option that doesn't work with Atlantic Comet. But to the disadvantage of all the other horses who are standing there in the barrier, this bloke is really fired up. And I would say that if he doesn't do the right thing in the next couple of minutes, he's going to get the boot. Now the rider's dismounted. Now Ernie Marchant's dismounted off Atlantic Comet, and they're going to have another crack to get him in riderless. It hasn't worked with Ernie on board. Now, the attendant's working on him there. They're trying to get hold of his ear to load him. I think he might give him one more chance here. And he normally used to go into the stalls but would be slow out, but now he's obviously decided to go the other way around. Now they're going to try the chain of arms here, and if this doesn't work, well, he's broken that. I reckon he's on his last few seconds here, Atlantic Comet. Let's see what's going to happen here. Now they've almost got him up to the barrier. Now the starter on the walkie-talkie, I think he's had it. Yep, they're leading him away, so stand by for an announcement regarding Atlantic Comet. Here we go. Yes, Robert? Yep. 304. Okay, thanks, Terry. Oh. Yep, will do. He's out at 304. Atlantic Comet out at 304. Bookmakers notified to line your books. An announcement regarding betting after the event. He was around the $21 mark on Super Tab, and they're set to go in the Cup now, ready for a start and racing. They've broken in a beautiful line. Smoke the Clay on the inside. Clapton away quickly with Mr. Zig, and working up there is also Full of Spirit and Apollo Express. So the popular picks are all up handy early on the inside. There comes Smoke the Clay drifting back. Going by it was Jamati, St Kilda Beach, and then comes Bicker's Court. Further back then comes King Soretto, and Elzamil is at the tail. Heading to the 1200 metre mark, and Clapton takes the lead from Full of Spirit. Now moving to second is Jamati, fourth placing Apollo Express. Wide out on the track there was Bicker's Court as they work along the back, and in the centre comes Smoke the Clay. Behind it Mr. Zig, 2 lengths further back St Kilda Beach being headed headed there by King Soretto, and they've dropped off Elzamil. It's about 4 lengths away at the 800-metre mark, and Clapton in front from Jamati. Mr. Zig on the outside, 3 deep. Fourth is Full of Spirit, then Jamati and Apollo Express over on the inside as they head down towards the 700-metre mark. 2 lengths further back, then comes Smoke the Clay. With it, Bicker's Court. Well back then, Lord of Virtue. Second last, St Kilda Beach, and last of all is Elzamil. 500 out, Clapton in front. Ahead, clear of Jamati. Third placing, Mr. Zig. Full of Spirit over on the inside. Then comes next on the rails at the head of the others then was Apollo Express. Around it, Soretto, Smoke the Clay and Bicker's Court as they race to the turn. The leader in the cup of the 250-metre mark is Clapton from Jamati. Full of Spirit. Mr. Zig wider out, and then comes Apollo Express. Inside the 200, Jamati took the lead, broke away here. Mr. Zig, King Soretto on the outside. Full of Spirit battling away with Clapton, but Jamati in front near home, and Jamati's going to get in the cup. Jamati first scores by 2 lengths on the line to King Soretto. Full of Spirits run third, then Mr. Zig, Clapton, Vickers Court, Elzamil. Apollo Express didn't run on, then Smoke the Clay. Well back came St Kilda Beach at the head of the others, Lord of Virtue, who was one of the last to pull up in the event. The winner here is number 6, Jamati, ridden by Michael Pritchard. Number 6, Jamati first. Drew a wide gate. Pritchard went forward on it and sat second until he took off on the turn, broke away with a winning lead, and they never looked like getting him in the straight. He's been racing very, very well in the country, in the city rather. This horse trained up at Wangaratta by Demas out of Croydon Girl, a Sovereign Slipper mare. LJ and Mrs. E.E. Cathro, the owners. Mrs. E. Cathro at Wangaratta is the trainer, and Michael Pritchard back in business, the rider. Number 9, second, King Soretto, ridden by Craig Dinn, by Soretto from Bear the Bell, Ollie Cox. And number 1 is third, and that is Full of Spirit by Full and By from Heart of Barrymore, Robert Wellington at Albury. 6-9-1, 6-9-1 in a time of 1:35.8. Fourth placing to number 7, and that was Mr. Zig.
Jamati, the winner of the Cup, number 6, he's been pretty good to Connections. That wasn't a bad race to win either today. A $30,000 event was the Tatura Cup with a $1,000 trophy to Connections of the winner of race 5. Michael Pritchard, the winning jockey. The second horse, King Soretto, he was running home very strongly in that race. Good finish to the Cup. Jamati, far too good for them. And the next there is for the fillies and mares at Tatura, race 6. At the gates